Perfectionism and autism. Two words that go together way more often than they should. If you're a high-masculine autistic, you might know this feeling well. The urge to get something just right, the frustration when it isn't, and the overwhelming exhaustion from chasing an impossible standard. But why does perfectionism show up so often for high-masculine autistics? Turns out, it's not just personal preference. It's deeply connected to how our brains work, how we grew up, and even how we've learned to survive. So let's break it down. All or nothing thinking. For many autistics, things feel like they either work or they don't. It's right or wrong, perfect or disastrous,
Sweet or sour, hard or soft, smooth or chunky.
Are you just naming random opposites?
Nailed it.
That's not what we're doing here.
Really?
Yeah,
Sorry, dude.
maybe next time. So if something doesn't meet our expectations, the whole thing feels like a failure. Take a second grader who spent hours on a drawing. He messes up one line, erases, still not happy. Instead of fixing it or moving on, he destroys the whole picture, tears it into little tiny pieces and throws it away. Sound familiar? It's because when something falls short, it doesn't just feel a little wrong, it feels completely wrong. Autistic inertia and monotropic thinking. Ever get so deep into a task that you can't stop tweaking it?
One time, I was so absorbed in a corn dog I was eating, I boarded the wrong flight and ended up in Siberia.
All right, not exactly what I was looking for, but we'll give that some more thought.
Let me know if you need any more details.
Yeah, I'll let you know. That's autistic inertia and monotropic thinking in action. Once we focus, we really focus. And when we're working on something, we keep coming up with ways to make it better until we can see it through to the end, if and when that ever comes. What starts as,
I'll just edit this one thing.
turns into,
Wait, now I have to change this thing too.
and suddenly it's 2 a.m. and we're redesigning an entire project instead of submitting the one we had. Cognitive distortions, magnifying the bad, minimizing the good. Perfectionism isn't just about what we're doing. It's also about how we think about it. Autistic people often have a cognitive distortion where we magnify little mistakes and minimize our wins. Got 98% on something? You're thinking about the 2% you missed. Someone compliments your work, you assume they're just being nice. But one person casually mentions the comma you missed in that company-wide email? That's the only thing that feels real. And now you feel sick. And that's all you'll be able to think about for the next 3 weeks. But quick tip, remember that most of the time, no one will notice those things except you. They're focused on the big picture, which is that you sent a stellar email or rocked that presentation, not that you slipped up on one word.
I can't believe I misspelled commitment. 2 M's and 1 T. Oh my God, why did I spell it with 1 M and 2 T's? Oh, everyone's gonna think I'm dumb.
Wait, how do you spell corn dog?
They've all moved on, and it's time you did too. But next is the reason your autistic brain might focus on this more than others. Detail-oriented, bottom-up thinking. Autistic brains tend to process the details first and work up to the big picture, instead of the other way around. Which means we see everything. Every line in a drawing, every word in a sentence, every flaw in a project. This can be a strength because we catch things others miss. But it also means we can obsess over tiny imperfections that most people wouldn't even notice. Like how to spell commitment. Focus, 2 M's, 1 T. Wait, am I obsessing over that? No, I'm not obsessing. Childhood experiences and trauma. Perfectionism isn't just brain wiring, it's also learned. If you were made fun of or laughed at for getting things wrong as a kid, or if nothing was ever good enough for a teacher or parent, that pressure to be perfect doesn't just go away. Autistic brains latch on to patterns, so it's not just the negatives. It's also realizing that getting 100% meant avoiding negative attention or extra fluffy questions. So yeah, perfectionism became the goal, but it's not realistic or sustainable. Over time, this fear of making mistakes can lead to anxiety and avoidance of difficult tasks. And if a parent was also autistic, they may have struggled with similar perfectionism, reinforcing the cycle. Is perfectionism always bad? Nope. Perfectionism isn't always bad. Striving for excellence? Yes, that's good. Wanting to learn and grow? Great. Loving the feeling of improving and having something you can feel proud of? Awesome. But when your brain says you're never good enough, or you're so stressed you can't even start, or if you have a meltdown from trying to make everything flawless, not useful anymore. So what can you do? Notice when you're magnifying mistakes. Ask yourself,
Would I say this to a friend?
and then be your own friend. Set real stopping points. If you're someone who keeps editing and tweaking forever, set a limit.
I'm done with this and stepping away in 15 minutes. Or 20 minutes. Yeah, an extra 5 minutes wouldn't hurt anything. Or a year. I could spare a year on this one.
Remind yourself that perfect is an illusion. Done is often better than perfect, except when it isn't. I mean, how can you have the perfect room design without symmetry and space for chocolate-covered almonds? And a Shark Tank.
And corn dogs.
See? Maybe perfection does exist. Perfectionism can be a double-edged sword. It can push us to do great things, but it can also keep us stuck, anxious, and exhausted. If you struggle with this, you're not alone, and you're not broken. Your autistic brain just might make it extra hard to remember that we don't need to be perfect. And if you want ideas to help your brain more, watch this video next.
I didn't like that one, Debbie. I want to do it again.
It's gotta be perfect.
Wait a minute. I'm doing it. I'm doing it right now. If they only knew, they'd be like, you hypocrite. Stop trying to be perfect.